All right, welcome to the final real estate market update of 2024. We're going to go over the November stats. And before we get into that, as always, I just want to say a huge thank you for all the support, all the business. Thanks for the interaction with the videos and the responses to those. That really kind of helps me gauge what you're looking for and what information is important to you. So give the channel a like, give us a follow, like the video, and we'll keep putting more information out. And next month for January, I will have the December statistics, so then I can actually do a full look back at the 2024 year, go through all the data, and we'll talk about what that looks like and where we might be going in a little bit more detail. But for right now, let's get into it. So it's been an eventful year in a lot of cases. Thankfully, our local real estate market has not been too volatile, and thankfully it hasn't been in the news too much because things have been nice and stable. Rental market has been pretty strong because a lot of buyers are having affordability issues with a purchase, and in many cases it's actually been cheaper to rent a home versus buying. So that's one interesting thing that we're seeing. Rents did peak out in 2022. They started to drop a bit. They have stabilized, and they've been pretty strong overall. So mortgage rates really changed things. The buyers have had some affordability issues, as I said, so a lot of them have been stepping back, and we've seen a reduced buyer demand over the last couple of years. However, the interesting thing is that a lot of sellers are rate locked into their homes, and they have these great rates some in the 2s, 3s, and 4%, which just doesn't make sense to sell and move into another home at this point. So while we have been seeing reduced buyer demand, we're also seeing reduced seller supply. And because of those two things, we're actually seeing a fairly balanced market overall. I wouldn't say that we're significantly in either a buyer or a seller market. So we'll see what happens, but overall, mortgage rates really changed things when they jumped up in 2022, and thankfully this year they've been fairly stable. They've been hovering between 6.5 to 7.5, give or take, and depending on your specific purchase or your specific loan type. So new construction still booming, doing very well. There's a lot of buyers out there that are opting for a brand new home with solar, better energy efficiency, especially since energy costs have been going up. And there's something to be said to kind of choose your finish, move in, and not have to worry about any renovations for at least the next 10 years. And that being said, there are still plenty of buyers for resale because there are those folks that would rather renovate to their taste. And with some of the resale neighborhoods, the established neighborhoods, sometimes you do get a little bit larger lot size, or you get some charm and some character that maybe some of the new construction developments just don't have. So either way, there are buyers for both, and they're both moving very well. The big news story this year was the lawsuit with the National Association of Realtors, and there was a lot of hype, a lot of discussion around that. California has been, I would say, a little bit more diligent over the years about their disclosure requirements and the regulation of the industry. So I don't know that it's really impacting us here in California quite as much as some other states. But it's almost been 4 months. I wanted to give this some time to shake out, see how it actually impacted our real estate industry on a day-to-day basis. And I will be doing some videos on that for buyers and sellers. How does it impact you? What to expect, what's changed, and how to navigate that moving forward. I may even do a little bit of information in a video about that for other real estate professionals and what to expect and how to navigate that. So overall, thankfully, it hasn't crashed the market, as some said. That was a silly projection. It is changing things a little bit in negotiation and how things are paid, but overall, buyers and sellers are still achieving their goals. It's still smooth. There's only a couple extra steps in the process. Overall, moving pretty well. So we'll just jump right into the stats. So for November, the number of for sale, pending, and sold homes in the Tri-County area actually dropped between 10 and 20%, which is totally normal for this time of year, right? It's the holiday season. who wants buyers tromping through the house with all decorations up and they've got, wet shoes from all the rain? It's just not enjoyable. And a lot of those buyers have other focuses right now. They're doing family things, they're traveling, they're doing their own home decorations, whatever the case is. So it's just a slower time of market, here in the Sacramento region. November, December, January, fairly quiet. Obviously, there are sales happening every month, but fewer in those months. So nothing to be concerned about at this point. Days on market increased 7.9%. It went up to 41 days. The sale ratio held stable at 97% of the original list price. So that's been pretty stable for a few months now. Surprisingly, for the month of November, both the average and the median sold price jumped, but it was only by 1.4%. So don't get too excited about it. The months of inventory also increased. It went from 2.1 to 2.4%. Totally normal this time of year. So Placer County was fairly similar across the board. Number of for sale homes dropped by 10.9%. Pendants dropped by 18.6%. And the number of solds dropped by 19%. So solds are kind of a lagging indicator. So that means that in October, the number of pendants dropped. And now we're seeing that translate into the number of sales also dropping. So because the pendants dropped in November, I expect that when we get the December data, we'll also see that the number of sales dropped off, which again, pretty normal for this time of year. So the list price to sale price ratio still 97% in Placer County as well. And the median sold price did not move. So it held stable at $649,000. Months of inventory for Placer County jumped from 2.3 to 2.5 months. And as I said earlier, we're pretty much right in the middle between a buyer and seller market. When clients ask me, is it a buyer's market? Is it a seller's market? Who's in control? Who's in charge? I tell them it depends on the house. And we've been seeing that trend basically since COVID, since right after COVID, that really the house determines what type of a market you're going to have. Are you going to have a buyer's or a seller's market? Obviously, price impacts that greatly as well, but a lot of it has to do with the house. So if you're curious where your house falls on that, if you're thinking about buying or selling, we can talk about the market, what's available for you as a buyer, or we can review your home as a seller, and I can help you determine where that would fall in that buyer to seller level. So I expect that as we see higher inventory levels in the future, it may soften out that trend and we'll see the market as a whole move, maybe not just based on each specific home, but we'll see the market move one way or the other toward buyers or sellers. Or it may just continue to be a really flat, stable market for a while. And I think that is a real possibility. So for 2025, I'm still expecting, like I said, a stable market. I don't see anything really major that is going to change. I think we've had a lot of volatility. We've had a lot of growth. And I think I do expect that for the next couple of years, the focus is just going to be on stabilization. We're going to have a lot of change in other financial areas. And I think real estate may be the one that is fairly stable out of all those. So a lot of the projections and the professional reporting, there are a lot of different companies. They all have their own projections. I believe the average of all those ended up being somewhere around a 3.1% price appreciation for the real estate industry. That is nationwide. I do expect the Sacramento region to outpace that just a little bit. But the days of the 10% a year appreciation are gone. We're not going to see that. So I would expect somewhere between 3 to 6% appreciation for the Sacramento region next year. Nothing crazy, but still positive. So good for the market overall. So stay tuned for more information. As I said, next month I'll have all the data for 2024. So we'll do a big recap on that. We'll do our intro into 2025 in the January updates. And for now, thank you very much. Have a great holiday season. I appreciate all the support and the referrals and look forward to, if it's your time in 2025, I look forward to working with you. So reach out with any questions and happy holidays.